Friday Night Visitor. Every Friday evening, just after the street lamps flickered on and the sun slipped below the pines, a different man would show up at the weathered blue house on Ash Grove Lane. The woman who lived there, Eliza Moore, was polite but distant, with a curtain of dark hair and an unsettling way of smiling without showing her teeth. The men were always different. Some wore business suits, others jeans and flannel. One arrived on a motorcycle, another in a luxury SUV. But none of them were ever seen leaving. Instead, every Saturday at dawn, Eliza would be spotted behind the wheel of their cars, sunglasses on despite the low light, driving them calmly down the road until the vehicle disappeared around the bend. She returned on foot, usually with dirt on her boots and something bundled under her arm. Once it looked like a jacket, another time maybe a rolled-up sleeping bag. By Saturday night, neighbors would smell the smoke. A bonfire roared in her backyard, crackling louder than any fire should, flames licking the stars. She never invited anyone over. The smell wasn't quite right either, not like oak or pine. It was metallic, greasy, heavy. Curiosity grew like mold. By the time Halloween rolled around, Nora Hemsley, who lived 2 houses down and kept the neighborhood watch calendar, decided to investigate. She knocked on Eliza's door with a plate of pumpkin cookies and a well-practiced smile. Eliza opened the door only a crack. Her face was dusted with soot, and there was something red at the corner of her mouth. "I'm not interested," she said softly. But before she closed the door, Nora caught a glimpse of a man's coat hanging on the rack. It was too large to be Eliza's, and there were dark smears down the sleeve. That was the last straw. That night, Nora and 2 other neighbors crept into Eliza's backyard just after midnight. The fire was still going, not flickering gently, roaring. The heat hit them in waves. Eliza stood in front of it, back turned, her long dress rippling like smoke. In her hand was a necklace, a thin gold chain with a silver locket. She tossed it into the flames without a word. Then the pile shifted. It wasn't logs. It was bones, dozens of them, picked clean, bleached by fire. One of the neighbors gasped, and Eliza turned sharply, catching them in the firelight. Her face was calm, not angry, not even surprised. "You shouldn't have come here," she said simply. The next morning, Nora was missing. So were the other 2. Neighbors whispered, "Of course." A few called the police, but when they came, Eliza greeted them with tea and an easy smile. No trace of the bonfire remained, just a neat ring of stones and a patch of scorched earth. The officers found nothing suspicious. Strange smells weren't a crime, still no more neighbors dared ask questions. The Friday visits continued, but then something changed. One Friday the doorbell rang at 7:03 p.m. Eliza answered it, but there was no man on the porch. There was a woman, tall, dark hair, dressed in black with dirt under her fingernails, and eyes too dark and too still. Eliza paused. "You're not what I ordered." The woman tilted her head. "I'm not, but the ones you burned, they called me." Eliza moved to shut the door, but her hand froze. The air behind the woman shimmered, then split. From the dark, they came. Dozens of men, silent and scorched, stepping from the mist one by one. Familiar faces. The man in the leather jacket, the one with the gold tooth, the quiet one who smelled like spearmint gum. Some still wore the clothes they'd arrived in. Others were only bones wrapped in smoke. And then 3 women followed, the nosy neighbors who'd vanished weeks ago. Nora stood at the center, her face half burned, her eyes wide with something older than fear. She clutched a locket blackened by flame. The woman at the door stepped aside. They've waited long enough. Eliza tried to run. She didn't make it to the back door. That night, the fire in her yard burned hotter than ever before. People from 3 towns away reported seeing something unnatural in the sky. The blue house on Ash Grove Lane was gone by morning, nothing left but a circle of ash and the faint scent of iron. And on quiet Friday nights, if you walk past where it once stood, you might hear knocking. But this time, there's no one left to answer. Some stories you don't tell. Not because they aren't true, but because the moment you speak them aloud, they start looking for you.